That's the one thing that I like about the rebuild title is it has to actually go through an inspection. With a clean title vehicle, $50,000 worth of damage, nobody has to inspect that vehicle legally for it to be back on the road. It just comes out of the body shop and boom, you're on the road. One tip that I had to kind of learn the hard way was, let's say you're in another state and I'm in Georgia. Let's say you did the rebuild title. When it goes to Georgia, it's the salvage title again. You have to get it inspected again and now get a Georgia rebuild title. If you are considering a rebuild title vehicle or a salvage title vehicle and it's already been fixed up per se, if you take the VIN number and you just put it in Google, you'll probably find exactly how the vehicle looked when it was crashed. And it's just like, and the reason this topic is so important is because it's like a serious business, right? Like you're putting your family in this vehicle, you're buying this vehicle. It's really important to figure out exactly of course the title status, but if you're gonna dabble in that market, that salvage rebuild, just do as much research as humanly possible.
Welcome back, everybody, to MotorCast. This is Homer. This is Rahim, my co-host, my friend and partner. How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, Homer. Welcome everybody to MotorCast. It's a wonderful, I was gonna say which day of the week it was, but I guess it's always gonna be very secretive.
Honestly, for our people, every time that they see it,
Sunday.
It's Sunday. I mean, premiere.
Yeah, happy Sunday. And if you're watching through the week, as always, super appreciate you tuning in, listening, watching. Means the world to us to be able to deliver this amazing information to you in our way.
Yes. So today we're gonna have a very interesting topic that is gonna be the difference between salvage, clean, and rebuild title. For me, honestly, not clean, but salvage and rebuild for me is the same. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
No, so there's gonna be a huge difference between those two. And I hope this definitely, like, since we started the podcast, the biggest, the most asked question I've received in my inbox has been about those kind of vehicles. So there's tons of differences between all three of those. And so the first one is clean title, right? That's the one we all know. That's the one that sounds normal. All that means is this vehicle was never deemed total loss by it was never totaled out by an insurance company, wasn't flooded, didn't flip over, wasn't in a fire, because it doesn't mean it's never been in an accident. It just means the accident wasn't so bad where the insurance company said, hey, this is junk now, or this is salvage now.
Or it wasn't reported, because I have one story. Remember my Honda?
Oh, yeah.
My Honda, that was my first car here in the United States. Not my first car, but my personal car, because my first one I gave it to my wife, right? So it was a clean title. So one time I was fixing, or Frankie was helping me fix the AC.
Frankie.
When he was trying to bring, I think it was the condenser or something like that, he found out that he couldn't bring it out easily. So when he saw the frame of the vehicle, it was like kind of, how do you say it? Bent, yeah. So it's not necessary that my vehicle was a clean title. It wasn't an accident, but no one reported it. That can happen too, right?
Absolutely. So, like, let's say something happened where no other vehicles were involved, and you didn't report it and you just fixed the car. Yeah, absolutely. It's still a clean title. But that's pretty much what a clean title is. A salvage title is when, if it's been in a flood, if it's been in a fire, if it's been in a wreck so bad, and pretty much the insurance company said it's going to cost more to fix this vehicle than it is just to pay for the vehicle. So let's say you have a $25,000 vehicle. Let's say the vehicle is worth $25,000, right? And let's say it would cost $26,000, $27,000, $30,000, and even some cases $25,000 to fix it. It would be easier to write the check for the full vehicle than it would be to spend the time, money, resources to fix that vehicle. So at that point, it'll be it's totaled out. It's a salvage title. Now, right, that's when the kind of the timeline starts for the salvage title. Now you have the choice. You can buy that vehicle back from the insurance company, right, for pennies on the dollar.
Fix it yourself?
You can fix it yourself. You could, or let's say the insurance company, let's say they take your $25,000 vehicle. You're like, hey, I'll take the check. They take it. They're going to maybe throw it at an insurance auction like Copart or IAA or something like that. And that's when that vehicle kind of enters the market back again.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then you have a rebuild title. A rebuild title is a vehicle that was a salvage title that went through the steps needed to get to a rebuild title. A salvage or rebuild title can never be a clean title again.
Okay.
Right? So that's really, those are really the three main ones.
And when you see the title on physical, even if it's a rebuild or a salvage, how can you know the difference? Are you going to find a stamp? Are you going to find anywhere that is going to say this is this or no?
You know, it's going to be different for each state. Like for Georgia, like let's say you're looking at the title on the right under the vehicle info on the right side, it's going to say either Georgia rebuild title or Georgia salvage title.
Mm-hmm.
It's not huge. It's just like you got to kind of look for it. In some other states on the top, instead of saying like Georgia certificate of title, it'll say like, for example, Kentucky salvage title, Kentucky rebuild title. Another common name that they're referred to as like red titles.
Okay.
And I used to think that means the title color is actually going to be red. That's not true. You know, I don't know why. I guess in some states maybe they are red, and maybe that's how it started. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know another common term for salvage title is a red title.
Okay. Probably like the street lights, red.
Yeah.
Ever. Red is always danger, or
red is danger.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Let me ask you this: what steps do we need to follow if we consider to buying a salvage or a rebuild type?
So it's many different steps you can take. For me, again, I would look at some sort of history report for the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, right? So you got clean title, you got rebuild title, you got salvage title. I'm not through this episode
in that order.
Like
not necessarily.
Yeah, clean title, rebuild title, salvage title. Salvage title's at the bottom.
At the bottom meaning worst?
Worst.
Okay.
Right? But there are some cases where they can kind of flip-flop, right? So, like, let me give you an example. So, salvage title, you already know something has happened, right? In some cases, you might even see the vehicle in that like, I guess, situation, in that, what do you call it, bro? In that condition.
Okay.
You see it in that condition, like it's been wrecked, it's been flipped over, it's been on a flood, whatever it is, you see it in that condition, and you can kind of, sometimes it doesn't look as bad as it might be, or whatever the case is, right? And to get to a rebuild title, like for example in Georgia, you have to, like, if we're a dealer and we're doing it, we have to fix everything. We have to have pictures before it's fixed. We have to have pictures after it's fixed. Sometimes, like, we don't really fool around with rebuild titles, but the one or two times that I have done it, it's been such a headache.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the cases was I was missing one receipt.
Oh my God.
Everything was fixed. The vehicle was completely fixed, everything like that. We bought all dealer parts. We got it fixed everywhere. We couldn't find one receipt that we had for a taillight or something stupid. And we couldn't get the rebuild title.
What did you have to do? Buy another tailgate or something? Tailgate?
No, we just sold it at the auction. It was such a headache, right? And so you need receipts. You need to make sure it's going to be able to pass the inspection. Now, the inspection is really, I think, is always going to kind of fall down to, like, the eyes of the inspector. But from the way I understand it, is somebody is signing off that they believe that this vehicle is safe to be on the road again. So in that scenario, that's the one thing I kind of like about rebuild title. Now, again, I'm not supporting it. I'm not buying a rebuild title for myself or anything like that. But that's the only reason why I kind of support it, is because nobody's going to put their life on the line just to make sure this vehicle can be on the road, right? Because it's always going to follow them, right? They've signed off that this vehicle is passing the inspection to be on the road again. And then the other thing about the rebuild title is, like, it kind of takes away the unknown. You know it's been messed up before.
Right.
It flipped over, it was a flood, whatever it is. Something did happen, and you know that already. That's just the one thing that kind of worries me sometimes about clean title. Is, like, let's say you have an $80,000 vehicle and you get into a pretty bad wreck, and it's the damage is $50,000 worth. Imagine a vehicle that has $50,000 worth of damage, and the insurance fixes it, but it's still clean title.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the one thing that I like about the rebuild title is it has to actually go through an inspection. It's not that somebody puts it together, they do the best that they can, and then boom, the vehicle is back on the road, right? Like with a clean title vehicle, $50,000 worth of damage, nobody has to inspect that vehicle legally for it to be back on the road. It just comes out of the body shop and boom, you're on the road.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So that's the one thing I like about the clean title is you already know something has happened, and then you already know that somebody has signed off on it. Now again, like just like we said in all the other episodes, still get it inspected, right? Still get it inspected, check a history report, things like that. But I think there's a time and place for every kind of purchase.
Let me ask you this then, because one thing that I'm thinking probably is something that common sense after what you've been saying. But what makes it a clean title or a rebuild title, considering the Carfax report? Let's say I bought a vehicle. It says minor damage. Where is it gonna be getting into changing the title status?
So if you see
Or the insurance people is the one that is gonna make change the status of the title.
right, and I won't say that I know that it's only insurance, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me. I don't know who else would have the power to say, hey, this vehicle is a salvage now. But I could definitely do some more research on that. That's a really good question. And what was your question?
The question is, what makes it actually coming from clean title to rebuild title? For example, the Hyundai that I bought, it had a minor damage, like a little scratch on the roof, but it's still a clean title. Where is it coming to a salvage title or rebuild title?
So it's gonna be when the insurance. One I know for sure is when the insurance company writes a check for it, saying that this vehicle is gonna cost more to fix than it is to pay for it, and we'll take the vehicle. Okay. So that's like the normal, right? And that's kind of where it starts. But like also one thing you mentioned is also like when you pull a history report, whether it's a Carfax or AutoCheck or whatever it is, you're gonna have Carqueta.
Do you know about Carqueta?
I don't know nothing about Carqueta.
They keep calling me, bro, every time.
Tell them we don't know you, and until somebody asks for you, we're not interested. But it's gonna be like, let's say you pull up a Carfax report. There's gonna be red, those triangles, caution signs everywhere. There's gonna be structural damage, airbags deployed, and it doesn't have to say those things, but it'll say like it'll be red everywhere.
It's the same of what you were saying. The red title is just the same. Red is dangerous.
Red is dangerous. If you see red, watch out. But now again, it could say like as you read the report, whether it's AutoCheck or Carfax, it'll say salvage title issued, rebuild title issued, or whatever it is. And the one tip that I have is that I had to kind of learn the hard way was, let's say you're in another state and I'm in Georgia. Let's say you did the rebuild title. When it goes to Georgia, it's the salvage title again. You have to get it's not physically a salvage title again, but it's the same process as if it was a salvage title. You have to get it inspected again and now get a Georgia rebuild title. There's some states where it's very easy to get a rebuild title. Like I know Kentucky is one of them. So it's like just be like really careful, right? Because some states are not as.
So what do you mean? You're saying that in some states it's very easy to get it, but in Georgia, for example, it's complicated to get it. So you're saying that even if the title is a rebuild title, it might come here in some states to the process.
Absolutely. And there's
have any states that you know other than Kentucky that is easy?
I don't, to be honest. Like I just know more about Georgia since we're here. I haven't had to go through the process anywhere else. I know like Illinois, it's really hard to go from salvage back to rebuild too. I know there's inspections involved there. And I think most states it's not gonna be like super easy, but there are some states where it's just too easy, so you just got to be really careful, right? And this kind of goes back to the earlier episodes. Check the history, right? See exactly what happened. Oh, and one more pro tip that you want to call it. So, and if you are considering a rebuild title vehicle or a salvage title vehicle and it's already been fixed up per se, if you take the VIN number and you just put it in Google, you'll probably find exactly how the vehicle looked when it was crashed.
Oh, Nice.
Yeah. So in my dealings with rebuild title and salvage titles before, I've found a vehicle. Wow, it looks perfect. Nothing is wrong
You're
with
gonna
it.
find a mugshot. Oh,
The mugshot. You can sign the dirty mugshot, right? And like I actually had a friend who he's trying to buy a Porsche, and which was really cool because he said that he could find the same exact Porsche he's looking for. I think he said $30,000 to $40,000 cheaper in a rebuild title. So when you're getting into a vehicle like that, like I can definitely understand it could be enticing. Like you're saving almost 50 grand, right? And all I did was I took the VIN that he sent me and I put it into Google, and the car that he sent me that he was buying was white. The original vehicle was gray, and the whole front end was trashed.
Dang.
Trashed. Like I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe somebody put this back together. Like it was messed up, and somebody put it back together.
You should see the stuff that comes from United States to Latin America, bro.
I believe it.
Oh my God. I remember one time there was this huge accident. Have you noticed that every time I tell a story about Honduras, on every episode, side quest. So
Side quest.
I remember it was all over the news in Honduras that there was I even remember it was a burgundy Hyundai Elantra. Obviously the guy was speeding. He jumped into a bridge, but he got it so fast that he jumped out of the bridge. But the whole structure in the air broke down.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? So those are the vehicles that salvage title, not even salvage titles probably are the vehicles that are going to Latin America.
Yeah.
And people is doing that. That's why when you see people fixing car here that are Hispanics, oh my God, that people is very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, and the reason this topic is so important is because it's like a serious business, right? Like you're putting your family in this vehicle. You're buying this vehicle. Like let's think about a couple different cars, right? Like my friend, for example, he's buying a sports car. This car is made to go like 150, 200 miles per hour. Like you want to make sure that it's like when that vehicle is coming from Porsche, it's made sure that it can go that fast, right? It's made sure that it can handle a turn at those speeds or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that he's going to be on the highway driving that fast, but I just don't know that it was put together back that way. Or let's think about like a SUV, a Suburban or something that you're putting your family in, that your kids are going to be in. Imagine it's already had a crazy front end collision. There's a chance it could happen again. Right? Is the structure still as strong as it was made from the factory? Is it going to be able to withhold the same amount of pressure the second time, the third time, right? Things like that. Now, there are some salvage and rebuild titles that I don't mind. Like probably my favorite is like theft, like because it's the vehicle was stolen and at some point it was recovered again, right? I feel like if a vehicle is been able to be recovered, and it's all in one piece, probably it got beat up, like they drove it hard and things like that. So, damage here and there. Maybe there was a hit and run. Maybe they ran from the cops or something like that.
And that's the worst case scenario.
That's the worst case scenario. And I just feel a little bit better about, not to say it's good, but if I had my pick, I just feel a little bit better about a theft than anything else. Because like with the fire, right? The new vehicles, they have so many electronics. What if the one small wire that was melted, that wasn't a big deal when they put everything back together, but over time it starts getting hot and melting again, or a flood? There's so many computers, right? Who knows when that vehicle is going to act up again, right? And again with a crash, who knows how bad that crash really was? Even if you see the pictures, right? Like, how bad was it really? Because the picture is not going to show you like when you're in person, like, wow, everything is tore up, right? Because imagine a front end collision, the engine is damaged, the transmission is being pushed back. Who knows about the rest of the frame, right? And things like that. So I think it's really important to figure out exactly of course the title status, but if you're going to dabble in that market, that salvage rebuild, just do as much research as humanly possible. And like, I know we talked about it in a couple other episodes, but like on this one, buy the pre-purchase inspection. Get it, no matter how much it costs, right? I think it'll be really important.
So in essence, will you recommend buying a salvage title or a rebuild title?
Case by case, right? So like, what are the cases I would recommend it? Like, let's say like I am into cars, but I was into cars growing up. Let's say you're building like a drift car, or you're building a race car or something like that. I don't think it's a big deal, right? Because you're probably like, if you're really gonna get that serious into it, you're probably gonna take it all apart and put it all back together a kind of a certain way anyway, right? Or if you're just gonna be learning how to drift in this vehicle, or you're, whatever, something like that, I don't think it's a big deal. Let's say it's a work truck and it's a salvage title or rebuild title due to let's say is salvage title or rebuild title due to a flood in the area. Doesn't mean that vehicle was flooded. There was just a flood in the area, right? And again, with theft, I don't mind the theft ones, right? Because you can get them checked out. Like it's just a less serious problem. Now, would I recommend the $50,000 to $60,000 Escalade or Suburban that I'm going to put my family in? For lack of better words, the F word, no, right? A race car, a nice luxury race car like a Porsche or a Ferrari or something like that. Probably not. Like, not me, right? I'd rather just not have it if it meant that I would have to buy a salvage or a rebuilt one. And then the other thing is, like, think about, and of course the safety is important and all that kind of stuff is important, but like, let's just think about the resale. Like, it's a value drops so dramatically. Like, so let's say, for example, we have a vehicle that's worth on paper, clean title, $50,000. On a salvage, I'm not paying no more than 25, right? I'm paying 50%. Not only that, but some insurance companies are not gonna let you get full coverage insurance, or the insurance might be higher. Some finance companies, they're not even gonna look at that kind of vehicle, right? They don't want any parts of it. So would I recommend case by case, right? Would I personally do it? Probably never. But it just really comes down to the buyer.
Right. But also, I would say the other one that I wouldn't recommend are the flooded ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mind if
you're a sales guy, bro. But I wouldn't buy it because I had that experience already on that one.
On a flood.
Yeah, I remember. Again, all the vehicles that go to Latin America are totally destroyed here or flooded.
Yeah.
So those are the vehicles that we're receiving from Mexico and further down, right? So I remember, what's the best brand that you can think of? Like reliable family car? Toyota. It was a Toyota Corolla, bro. Flooded in Louisiana on Katrina. Oh my God, bro. That car, I remember, it was the worst, bro. It was the worst. Flooded on Katrina. Obviously, think it like 15 years ago. Probably people knows about history reports already back in Honduras, but I don't think 15 years ago people knew. So I don't know how after 2 years out in the car, someone told my mom, yeah, this car was flooded. Yeah, I think we went in the title because you have all the border, I don't know, CBP, whatever, I don't know how to call it. So we had all the paperwork, right? And we found out that it was from Louisiana. So, and on my experience, don't get a flooded.
Yeah.
No matter what, bro.
Okay, don't get a flooded vehicle. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, again, it's just gonna be case by case, and again, just to like recap, I like the fact that like for rebuild, in Georgia, it has to go through some type of inspection. I think that's pretty important. And I wish they came out with a rule or a law or something like that, that maybe if a insurance company paid a certain percentage, even if it stayed clean title, that it still needed an inspection. I think that would be pretty cool. Because again, a $50,000 vehicle that they spent $30,000 to fix is still a lot of freaking money to fix that vehicle. And I just think it would put better quality vehicles on the road. But more importantly, I think it just would give buyers that peace of mind.
That's very important because taking the example that you were saying, that I was saying about my Honda, it was a clean title. But also the example that you were saying, that insurance companies can actually pay certain amount of money and still keep that vehicle as a clean title. It goes back to that episode that we did, and people can go back into our other episodes in which what things to look, go on the vehicle, make that 360, watch all these pieces, use your senses, And of course, and always we're gonna say this: get a pre-purchase inspection.
Get a pre-purchase, especially with a vehicle with a bad history report, bad title, red title, salvage title, rebuild title, any of those things.
All right, so I think this is a very important episode. I saw that like 2 or 3 people on your posts, on your Facebook post, were asking about this topic. So this is for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope this helps, guys. See you on the next episode of MotorCast, baby.
Remember that you can go into all our social media, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You're going to find us as MotorvationTrucks. And on Spotify, you can listen to us and find us as MotorCast. Do you have any other thing that you want to...
That's it. Hit us up if you guys have any specific questions, you need an opinion. I just want to help you guys. So you guys can call me 404-939-9010. You can email me Rahim, Rahim at MotorvationTrucks.com. If you have some questions for Homer, hit him up. But we just want to help you. Even if you're not buying a vehicle from us, that's okay. If you have questions about the title, history reports, things like that, please allow me an opportunity to help you. Thank you so much.
This is magic that is gonna happen, bro. When you say Rahim at MotorvationTrucks, it's gonna appear like this. All right. See you on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.